Hey everybody, this is Doomhammer here to do a quick video to help teach some of you how to mod the political machine game. So the first thing you want to do is find your local disk, which is basically where your Steam files are installed on your computer. So you find your Steam library, then you click on your Steam apps, and then where workshop means that you can edit like characters that are from the Steam workshop. So like if I open this, okay, no one's there. Never mind. We'll go to this one. So John Delaney. If I want to open the John Delaney character, I can right click on him and edit in Notepad. Now, as you can see, there's all this weird text, but you find like first name. So I could change his first name from John Delaney to Bob. You know what I mean? And I could save. I would go here and just hit save, save as right into this folder, and I would change him. I normally wouldn't touch any of this stuff here, which is basically the type of character, the bobblehead imaging. But if you scroll down, you can see that issue stances like communist, he's a 5, he's a credibility 5. You can play with some of the like communism stat or whatever their issues are. You could probably copy and paste and add some if you want. However, I haven't never added one. Then you look at some demographic stats I never really touched. But political party, 0 means they're a Democrat, 1 means they are a Republican, and 2 means that they are an independent, yes. And then states, I'll show you where the states are, but that's like identifying what home state they are. You could give them more money or less money. These are their main stats, like charisma, he's a 0, media bias is 0. And that's basically, I could edit a Steam character this way. But we're not going to do that. We're going to just go back to the workshop here. We're going to go back to Steam apps. Where most of the modding content comes from is common. Then you got to find the game you want. Now, Baldur's Gate, great game. But we're going to go to Political Machine 2024. You click on the Political Machine 2024 data. And the number, I mean, you can look into some of these other files, but some of these extensions and applications, they're more in Unity. So unless you actually have Unity and know how to use it, it's going to be a waste of time. Even plugins, nothing here other than data. So if you've ever downloaded one of my mods, I just basically give you this data file, which is where you would copy and paste into this folder here in order to get the mod. But you click on the data, and then you start to see some of the options you have. Now, normally, configs I never touch, but this is kind of like the bobblehead dimensions of Bill Clinton, for example. Like if I open a Notepad, you're going to see this is where, just like the other candidates are that were in the workshop, this is just his body, his bobblehead. It's not his actual character. We'll get to that later. And then we're going to go to English, which is where most of them will be. Most stats will be here. So in this section, there's a lot to break down. So if we look at the one that you probably use the most, we look at Candidates 2024, open with Notepad. And here you're going to see there's a generic template there. Ignore that. Then you got Democrat. So here's like Elizabeth Warren's character. I could decide to take this. As you can see, the candidate starts here. Candidate, internal name. And then the candidate ends here. If I were to click delete right now, I have just taken Elizabeth Warren out of the game. So that's what I did when I did the mod to remove historical presidents, because you're able to just delete them. If I want to change the description and sit there and say, let's see, Joe Biden, you know, I can sit there and say, you know, Sleepy Joe is at it again. All right. That description would show up in Political Machine. I could change his name if I wanted to. I could change his title. So he's the incumbent president. I could change him to Supreme Overlord. I wouldn't change this. I've been playing around with this for a while because I've tried to put my own portraits in, and I keep failing. So if someone figures that out, good on you. Gender, again, I think 0 is male, 1 is female. Here you could change what deck he uses, as long as you know the exact word of it, because that way you could change him from Biden liberalism, which is actually a really good deck. I would not change that, but you could change him to an establishment Democrat or an authoritarian deck, and then that would make an effect in the game. These are all of his stats. So if you want to give him, you know, more stamina or less stamina, all those different stats exist. Some of these stats were in older political machine games they never got rid of, but here they are. And you see the home state map. I believe it's alphabetical, so that's why Delaware would be number 7. I think the very first state, Alabama, would be a 0. Let's see. Issues, and this is all of his bonuses on different issues. So let's say if I want to lower him, I want to make him a 30 here, or I want to make him significantly more religious. You can make those changes, and they'll have an impact in the game. And then, of course, you can scroll down. So there's Bernie Sanders and more of them. And all the way down, you can look at like Harry Truman's there, FDR. They have it sectioned off kind of like, let's see, it's like Democrats, which is right. Let me find it for you. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should make this bigger for you. Does that help? Okay, maybe. So after you go through all the Democrats, it'll go to Republicans. It also has like independents, which would be, oh, there we go. Hold on. So Republicans, now it shows Donald Trump, for example. You know what I mean? I have been able to copy and paste Steam Workshop characters into this, which makes them built into the game and you can't delete them, which is how I've been making most of my mods. So again, you have to be really careful where the candidate ends and the candidate starts. And that way you make sure you keep the entire candidate together. Let's see, what else? What's another fun fact here? There was a stat line. And I don't know if it may not even be in these standard candidates. Let me go back. So we're going to get rid of this because I don't want to actually save that. So Glenn Youngkin, right? So one thing you want to do with a workshop character that I figured out is you have to go to is custom. If you go and change is custom to false and save that, all of a sudden I just made Glenn Youngkin available for the PC, the computer, to pick him as a VP. Because I don't know if I have never had the computer pick a Steam Workshop VP. But when you are able to change this is custom to false, it now makes them available to be chosen. Don't ask me why or how, but yes. I'm still trying to figure out what is guest means or handicap 1. Not entirely sure what those are, but you can play around with those and see. But going back now to other things you can edit. So for example, we look at endorsements. Now if we go and we want the XML file, because that's what you can actually edit. If I go to the meta, it's going to show me this. And this gives me nothing to edit. But you want to find the XML, edit in Notepad. And so right here, this is a mix of endorsements and cards. So for example, this is Max Thunderstruck. I could decide to change this card. All right, so this is the notification title that pops up. And see where this arrow and this arrow is. I don't want to touch this at all. But if I want to change this from celebrity endorsement announcement to Taylor Swift endorses, and I can change this to the text, so it would say Taylor Swift, new queen of pop, endorses political candidate for president. I spelled her name wrong up here, so we're going to fix that. And then, right, Taylor from Swift. I get a 1+ boost, and there you go. I have just updated this card that's going to reflect Taylor Swift as opposed to Max Thunderstruck. And then this is the effect modifier. So let's say I decide I want Taylor Swift not to give you a 1% boost. I want to give her a 5% enthusiasm boost everywhere. So right here, as you can see, all states means it's going to affect everywhere. I could change that value to 5. And so political capital, it looks like, I don't know if I just I might have made the effect that the card is worth 5 now. I guess you got to play with that a little bit. Because it's modify enthusiasm is the result of the card. String value, I don't know. But you can play with some of those. Celebrity endorsement too, right? Jerry Goldwyn, I could change that to, you know, Ted Nugent, right? And then you just do the same thing. Now, if you scroll through, you're going to see a lot of other like celebrity endorsements, which is, I think, a lot of the cards that you're getting. I can put my own people in if I want. This is the builder card, right? So future and community builder card. Now here, like the Farmers Alliance. If I want to go to this is the Energy Independence one. I could sit there and say this is the Sierra Club endorsement. Pro energy independent and natural gas and oil, yeah. Or I guess that's not the right one for them. But anyway, you can change any of these to what you want them. You can add the NRA. You could add really anything. I could change tax relief it's not tax relief. Let's change. There's another one I want to change that is a better fit. We could sit there and stable prices just for the heck of it. You could decide to change any of these to like the Chamber of Commerce. Right, and Chamber of Commerce endorsement wants to change inflation and so forth. You could create your own entire endorsements. However, you'd have to really pay attention to what kind of effects that is having. So you can change all these different endorsements if you'd like. I'm not going to save any of that. So the English STR, if we go here to edit Notepad, this is like a lot of the generic content. So I have had fun with this and been like, okay, we're going to change Democrat to communist. We're going to change Republican to like, you know, fascist. You can do whatever you want. You can rename them what you want them to be called. Independent, you know, undecided, or, you know, or clueless. So you can change some of this. You can change if you want it to be thousands or not billions, you know, you can change liberal, moderate. The problem is some of the things don't change, like the graphics, because obviously, you know, that comes down to Unity. But like I could try to change the name of certain things. A lot of the buttons don't change because the button says like quick run, but you could change some of that to change the name of what it is you're doing. I could change the titles here for what is sleepy, tired, active to whatever I want it to be called. These are a lot of like content within the game. We could rename these campaigns. We can rename the starting funds. So that's what really this is about. As you can see, filter data, like, you know, so all these different things can be changed if you want to mod any of it. Calling an ad. A lot of these are the descriptions. So it may not change a lot of the actual what the card actually will do or what the action is. You just really want to watch editing anything in the brackets because like all this other stuff can change, but that's about it. As we look at the states, as you can see, Alabama is 0, and then these are all the states, and they actually have the state abbreviation, the name. So I could change the name of a state if I wanted to. You can do that if you want. Scrolling through here, so these are achievements, which you know you can change if you want. So a lot of just generic stuff in here. We can see some different content here. So that's one folder that can be changed. Let's go ahead to maps. I'm trying to remember. There's another place in maps so you can, don't do the meta. Then you look at political action card, right? So you can go here and these are the different cards that exist and the certain decks. So I believe you could probably like copy one of these and add it to someone else's deck. And now all of a sudden this deck now includes cards from other ones. So if you want to build your own custom deck, this is how you would do it. I showed you the other place that would show you how to actually change which deck the candidate has. But that's one option you can do. If we look in the political action cards, I think these are what the impact of them are. So these are where we have some endorsements that were random cards that would pop up. Bodyguard, right? Here's what it is. You can change the name of the bodyguard card if you wanted to. That targets a state. This does not target a state. So you can, that would be true, and it would protect you in the one state. So you can play around with some of these if you want to make your own cards. I've never actually made my own cards, so I don't know how well that works. You can change things like, let's see. And you can play with what you can play with and what you can't. Now, if you want to change states, you go to maps. And then this is the main maps. If you were to go to here, right, nothing really to change here because this is like directing you which map. But if you click USA, now you get all the states. So right here, I could go to Arizona, edit it. And here, again, it's state ID 3. I don't want to change that. But I could decide to change Arizona, and I want to make it 50 electoral votes. I can change how many delegates it is for the Democratic or Republican primary. I could change the number of males and females, which doesn't have much of an effect. We can change the wealth of the state, so that way, if we want to make Arizona, let's add a 9 in front of it. Now it's going to be a lot wealthier of a state that people want to go to. I can change the population of the state so that when you are getting your popular vote, you're going to add up more or less. You can change the racial demographics. You can change the age demographics. I've never tweaked those much. The income you can change, but really the ones that will make the most impact is electoral college, wealth, the delegate count. But then there's two things here. I don't actually know the difference right now. But basically I can make this into, let's say, I'll make it 60% Democrat, 30% right or Republican, and 10% independent. So now all of a sudden the Democrats going to have a much better chance of winning the state because there are more Democratic voters in the state. Or I can flip it and make it more Republican. And then all I have to do here is just go and save, and now all of a sudden Arizona is a much more red state. And you can do this for any state here. You can also, if you really want to, go to a state. So let's say Mississippi. I can change the name of the state, of course. I can change the abbreviation, but I could also make it 0 electoral votes. 0 delegates. I can make it population of 0 and no wealth. So that way, I have basically made the state gone. I've gotten rid of the state entirely. So you can campaign there, but when the election results come in, the state won't even show up because nobody won the state. So that's another thing you can do. That's how I do like retro ones. You can eliminate states that weren't actually in the union. So those are some changes. I'm trying to remember other things that you can play with. Debates. So if you go here and right click, open Notepad, you can sit there and say, welcome to the 1960 presidential debate. And then you can change, we have an exciting verbal sparring match between the two leading candidates. You can sit there and say, this is the first ever televised, first ever debate on the television. Are you not entertained? Right, whatever you want. And that's going to make and then there's different intros they have, so you can always play with them. Now, this is where it gets trickier. Now, see, the candidate name would mean it's referring to like Glenn Youngkin or Donald Trump. You can change these responses to fit what you need. Now, of course, the more you have to look into it, it's a pain because this is the border security. So you'd have to find where the border security is as an issue, and then you can find a way to maybe swap issues or change responses, change impact of responses. But it's a lot of work because this debate, look how long this is. There's so much to it. If you go back, you can go to... there's another one in here about issues. I'm trying to remember where it is. So let's see, candidate elements. I think this is all just about... this is like how do you build a character and what's there. It's not candidates. It might have been one of the. Let's see. I think it was this one. Let's go back one. Sorry about this. I'm trying to remember where that was. DLC. That's not. Yeah, because there's one of these areas. It might be English, because this is a very hefty one. If I were to search for an issue. Yeah, this is also an area where there's more debate answers. So there's sometimes in 2 locations, which I don't love. I'm trying to see, because there's a spot in this text where you're able to change issues, and I'm coming up short for right now, but I'm sure it's in here somewhere if you were to look through it. Let's see, where did I know it before? Well, you can, I mean, play around with it. Again, there's some things that will work and some things that won't work. There is the reset button that you can, like if you go to Steam, you can always validate your files, I think, and that resets everything. But you look through the different things, see what you are able to edit, see what you're not. Like this campaigns right here used to be from the old game. You know what I mean? Where you actually had a ladder you had to climb. Let me see. It wasn't under random events. Yeah, this is the campaign candidates that they no longer have in the game, which is sad. But yeah, so if you're interested in modding the game, there is a lot of things you can play around with and try. There used to be more things before, but this is the best we've got so far. So if you have any ideas or creations on your mind, this is a way of doing it. So I know this is probably more of a boring video, but if you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll definitely have more content coming out, actually playing the game, but hopefully this helps explain kind of how you can rework this political machine game to really make it into something so much more. So thanks for watching.